Hi, and welcome to AE-Help's IELTS test preparation videos. In this video, we will look at a second example for the Task 2 writing question. I will show you how to understand the question, plan, and then write the correct response. For more videos like this and lots more help with the IELTS, please visit us at www.aehelp.com. Okay, so again, remember that when you're practicing Task 2 at home, the first and most important step is always make sure that you truly understand the question. So, again, this is IELTS Task 2. So, step 1 is understand the question. And as we already discussed in the previous lessons, the first strategy for understanding the question or making sure that you understand the question is paraphrase the question. So, paraphrase. Now, again, remember that paraphrasing will not only help you to understand the question or completely understand the question, it will also help you to think more deeply about the question, as well as help you to collect some good vocabulary with the main words used in the question, so that you have some good synonyms and so on that you can apply in your essay. Now, for this video or these videos, we're going to be using a Task 2 question from the website. And the question reads like this. So, writing Task 2. You should spend about 40 minutes on this task. Write about the following topic. Most people spend a great deal of time at work. Therefore, job satisfaction is an important part of being happy in life. What elements are required for job satisfaction? And is it possible for all workers to achieve job satisfaction? Give reasons for your answers and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. Write at least 250 words. Okay, so again, when you're doing this at home, make sure that you write out the original question. So, especially when you're first beginning to practice Task 2, double space the original question, and then between the lines, write the paraphrase. Now, I don't have a lot of room on my board here, so I'm just going to simply write the paraphrase for this. Okay, so most people spend a great deal of time at work. Another way we can say this is many individuals work much of their time. So notice how I'm using some synonyms like individuals and also some of the expressions like spend a great deal of time at work. I'm changing the grammar and the expression to work much of their time, okay? Now again, this is a step that you can do and I recommend doing during the IELTS exam because it's worth the 1 to 2 minutes in exchange for making sure that you clearly understand the question and also for that useful vocabulary. So many individuals work much of their time. As a result, it is necessary instead of important to be satisfied with work in order to have happiness. So again, some synonyms and some grammar, some different word forms to paraphrase the question so far. Now, continuing on here, what factors are important to be content with work? And finally, is it realistic for everyone to have job satisfaction? Okay, so there's my paraphrase of the original question. Now I'm quite sure that I clearly understand this question or these questions. I realize now that there's more than one question here. And I have, again, lots of useful synonyms like factors, individuals, in order to, as a result, and so on, which I will be able to apply in my essay. So I can go to the second part of step 1, which is identifying the topic and the controlling idea. All right, so the second part of step 1, understanding the question, is, again, if you remember back to the previous lesson, to identify the topic of the question and then to identify the controlling idea or the controlling ideas. Now, in comparison to the last question or last task 2 that I covered in the videos, you should notice something interesting about this question. This question is an open question. So the question is asking you what elements contribute or are necessary for job satisfaction. You can have a lot of different answers. So this is not an agree or disagree, not an advantage or disadvantage or discuss both views. But again, this is what's called an open question, where you discuss advantage and disadvantage or just have 1 or 2 answers. That's considered a closed question. So you have to be really careful because open questions can be more tricky since they can have a lot of different answers. So again, it's even maybe more important to make sure that you find the correct topic and the correct controlling idea or ideas before you start to create your answer and your thesis. So let's do that now. All right. So B is identify the topic and controlling idea. And again, this is especially important with open questions. Okay, so in our example, again, to find the topic, the easiest way is just simply ask, what are we talking about? Or what is the question asking me about? And when we ask this, so what is the question asking me about? then we realize that the question is asking me about job satisfaction. So it's no surprise then that the topic in this case is job satisfaction. Okay, and then we want to ask what is the controlling idea, or what are the controlling ideas? And to find that out, we can ask regarding what with the topic. So regarding what about job satisfaction does the question ask? Well, it's regarding the elements or the factors that are important for job satisfaction. So the controlling idea is elements of job satisfaction. Now look carefully at this question, because it actually has two different controlling ideas, so it's a little bit more complex here. There's a secondary question here, which is it possible for everyone to achieve job satisfaction? This is kind of another controlling idea, and in order to get a nice high score on the IELTS, you must not forget to answer this question. If you do, it will be very, very difficult to get a good score. If you don't, and you make sure that you answer both of them clearly, you have a much better chance of getting 7 or even higher. So this here is the first controlling idea. There's a second controlling idea, which is it possible, is job satisfaction possible for all workers? All right, so now that I have identified the topic and identified the two different controlling ideas connected to this topic, I'm ready to go on to the next step of planning, which we'll look at next. All right, so step 2 of the process, and again, this is something that you definitely want to practice at home, is to plan the answer for a strong essay. So step 2, planning a strong response. All right, now for planning a strong response, again, remember from the previous videos that what you need to do is ask what, why, and how, so using critical thinking for the topic, and then for the controlling idea or the controlling ideas. So ask what, why, and how for the topic and controlling idea, or in this case, especially with our question, the controlling idea. So this is the first part of step 2. So let's do that right now with our topic anyways, or let's begin doing that with our topic. So again, our topic is job satisfaction. So the first question that we ask is, what is job satisfaction? So what does it mean to be satisfied with work? Well, different people have different definitions, so just be clear about what your definition is. Again, try to make it as concrete as possible or as visible as possible. Again, remember that all of this information will be used in mostly the introductory paragraph of the essay, but possibly also in other parts of the essay. So the answer to what is job satisfaction? Well, in my opinion, job satisfaction means that you have a positive attitude in your work or about your work. So a positive attitude toward work. So that's my simple definition for now about what is job satisfaction, a positive attitude toward work. All right, so question 2 is, why is this important? So why is job satisfaction important? Well, again, we're lucky here because the question itself gives us a little bit of the answer. Job satisfaction is important for overall happiness in life because we spend most of our life or much of our adult life in our job or in our work. So again, give a clear answer as possible. So adults spend often 40 years doing work. So being positive affects usual mood. Okay, sure. So we've gotten a little bit more concrete. We've identified that it's 40 years of an average adult life, and we can define it even more, 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, or maybe even more. And then we have one more question left, which is how. So I'm just going to erase the top part here. So question 3, how does this happen? And my answer, well, if I'm happy in work or if I'm positive in my work, then when I go home from work and I spend time with my family or with my friends, then I'll continue to be positive. And of course, on the opposite, if I'm negative or depressed about work, then that sadness will continue in the rest of my day as well. So answer 3 is positive attitude after 8 hours of work affects the mood for the rest of the day. Okay, so there's a brief explanation of how job satisfaction is a very important part of not just the time that we spend at work, but also for the overall well-being of the individual. So now I have a very clear idea about my topic of job satisfaction, what it is, why it's important, and how it affects my life. So now I'm going to repeat the same 3 questions, what, why, how, about my controlling ideas, or regarding my controlling ideas. So let's do that. All right, so the video that you just saw is coming from www.aehelp.com. To see the rest of this video and for lots more help with the academic IELTS, please visit us there and join the full course.